Hello, beautiful, amazing, fantastic world. And you, just as fantastic, amazing, wonderful, magnificent individual. Today, I'd like to speak a little about you can never speak enough about the spiritual and the divine. Now, the reason being is pretty darn obvious. When you speak about the spirit and the spiritual in respect, honesty and devotion, you are, well, making a praise song. You are praising the higher nature of reality. By doing so, well, by speaking about the spiritual, you're immersing yourself in the spiritual, since you're visualizing and using your imagination and picturing to, well, immerse yourself in it. By truly speaking about the spiritual, the divine, the laws, the underlying spiritual laws and love, the human being and in general soul and spirit. This is, I just now choose different areas to, well, focus on in the moment to give examples. The more you immerse yourself in it, the more spiritual you become. You see, the spiritual begets the spiritual. The material begets the material. So if you're a pure materialist, the spirit will never come out of that. But out of you longing, begging for the spirit, for the divine, praising it as the beautiful, beautiful creator and life giver that they are. We truly have a wonderfully enigmatic and mysterious nature to us. It is up to us to find out what we are, why we're so different from animals, how we can stand upright and, saying I am to ourselves by reflecting on to ourselves. It is not something anything outside of us on this physical planet Earth can do. And it is a gift. To purify and to ennoble that is our task. And by speaking about, by immersing yourself in, imagine, being inspired by, and follow intuitively and trustfully along on the path that the divine gives us, is when we truly are starting to see where they are and how they operate and how much they truly affect us and how much they truly have certain, what should we call it? Not control, but they are guiding. The angels or the genius is guiding the individual human being. The archangels is guiding a whole people. That means a country or even a huge group like an alliance or so. But in most cases it is a country. Every country has a folk soul or an archangel. So the United States has an archangel, and the Russia has an archangel, Germany has an archangel. Any country has an archangel, and that defines their people as a physical form. That means what they look like in certain cases, and also certain behaviors from that country. Then we have that, so the angels is the individuals guiding, then the archangels is a people's guiding, the folk soul. Then we have the archai, the whole world. This is the age. The archai is this age. The prime beginning, the age of personality, the spirit of personality. Now we are talking global. Now we are talking something huge here. That is what I focus on. Of course, I have all three of these in sight when I truly operate within spiritual work. But it is important to know that we have the angels, archangels and archai pretty close to us, more as an effect, as an effect and a result we can see than we can actually see their being and forms and shapes. But you see their effect. You feel them as effects. You can see them through spiritual science. That means you build your own body and being to be able to perceive it through imagination, intuition, and inspiration. It is important to keep oneself alive through active contemplation, changing of focus areas in your consciousness. That means you can switch from health and the physical and, let's say, diets and so on, to meditation and, well, praising and devotion, so on. Or you can switch to creativity. You can switch to communication. And to be able to switch on a dime, to be able to switch focus and be flexible on the moment it passes, that is our task. To strengthen our own inner being, to be able to handle whatever might come towards us. Of course, we will never be able to master it fully in this life, maybe not even in the next or in the next. But we are cultivating steadily, because what we do now will not be in vain for the next life. That is why it's important to grab a hold of the spiritual, and why it is so important to speak about it, for yourself at least. I speak to myself openly and out loud very often when I truly want to flush out a concept or flush out a certain situation. Because when I speak it out, it's like grabbing down in your pocket and pull out a whole tableau or a whole blackboard, and then we can kind of read what's on the blackboard. That is why we speak out our soul. So we more or less bring out our own soul to see it by communicate and contemplate it. That is also how you grow. You mature by contemplating your life, your experiences, what you felt, how you felt, what you did, what actions, what you thought also, and what we can do better next time. It is important to not, beat ourselves up for mistakes we made, when some of these mistakes might be karmic, and it was something that repeatedly played out that we had in our early lives. Let's say I smacked someone in the face 2 lifetimes ago, and in this lifetime, all of a sudden, I'm going to use a random example. You are out in a bar or something and you trip, and then you spill a drink over another person, and that person just slaps you in the face. That is a karmic situation. It might have been differently played out 2 lifetimes ago. Like, for example, I might have that person might have stepped on my toe or anything, and then in pure reaction slapped that person in the face. I am just using random examples here, but the play out and the result in the end is the same. The slap in the face. It is only based on, what was built up until then. The thing is, karma is repetitions. And we are living in constant repetitions and circles. And for every repetition there is something new in the picture. It is not something that is completely repeated. It is always a new element into the picture again. And that is the same with the whole cosmos. As I told earlier, we're going in rounds around the zodiacs. One round is through the 12 zodiacs. It is... Where was I going with this? That round... Yeah, once you have gone through one round of the zodiac, you have something new when you go through next time. You are not going through unrepeated, the same. It is new thing but the same. New thing and new thing but the same. You see? There is always adding something new to it. That is the amazing part. That is why we cannot think that we were the same in earlier ages and lifetimes. We had different focuses, different consciousness, a different perceiving and experiencing. We were in direct experience with the outer and did not have this commentary in the back of our mind that had our personal opinions on things. It was experiencing, feeling, and you see, you couldn't reflect on it in the deep sense you can today. we were more instinctual and intuitive, but we were still more than animals still. We were not pure animals then. We still had man, the rudiments of man and the human being within us. Once that time was come that all the group souls had to separate from the human form, is when the animals started to take physical shape on planet Earth. That is when things begin to densify a little also. But I digress. So, this is why you cannot speak enough about spirituality. You remind yourself, and you are sitting here in these concepts and, well, using nerve paths just to be materialistic for a tiny moment. You actively use new nerve paths, new way of thinking and feeling. And by doing so, you build, well, new paths, new ways, new more healthy and not repetitive. Because predictability and repetition brings illness and disease. You see, illness and disease loves something it knows, something it is comfortable with. It's the same with human being. They become, if they do not have new impulses and new experiences in their lives, they will slowly ebb away in what they know. They will be so comfortable within what they know that, well, they are in their own little bubble and they lost themselves away from the world. Then you have those that completely are overwhelmed by the world, eaten, as I said earlier, eaten by the group soul. They have no personality at all, no individuality. They just follow. Think about these pictures for a moment, because you see them as reality. Sadly. But that is why we do the work. To slowly and steadily bring inspiration so others can bring inspirations, so we can snowball effect out in a beautiful nervous system of, beautiful grid network of a nervous system on this planet Earth. It's just a picture, of course, but you get my drift. It truly is about what we long for, and to follow that longing, and to not try to fill it in with materialism. Believe me, I tried. In my early lives, almost killed me. So please don't try to fill that emptiness, that longing, that void with material things. It won't work. So fill that with, well, the divine, reverence, devotion, and the longing to aspire to God, to Christ, to the Holy Spirit, and to truly, well, follow along on that journey, having faith, love, and hope. By having these three, you safeguard yourselves against, well, most errors that might occur when it comes to being led astray. Listen to your inner guide, to your heart, to your soul. And once you have anchored yourself in the body so you can feel everything whenever it occurs, your head will not mislead you. Your head has a tendency to mislead you. But by having your head as more as a subordinate to your ego, to your I, you use your ego use your head as you wish it to be used. Same with the emotion, same with your will. You are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings, but you think. You think with your mind. You think with your mind. You see, you are a center here that thinks with. That is important to remember. You are the center that thinks, feel, will, hears, sees, feels. You see how that one thing can do all these different things, you see? I leave you with that. And thank you so much. May Christ, Holy Spirit, and God, Father, guide you, protect you. May the hierarchy also protect you, guide you. And may you be loved on your beautiful journey that I just so enjoy doing. And I wish for you also to find out the enjoyment of it, and the truth and the honor and the humility that is required for doing so. I love you. Thanks. Goodbye.